Today's show is sponsored by the ABV Network Merchandise Shop. Check out our large assortment of logo merch and our lifestyle collection as well. Just head over to abvnetwork.com and click on shop. We are also sponsored by The Bar to Go. The Bar to Go offers a fully customizable carrying case that allows you to take your favorite distilled spirits or cocktail ingredients with you. Whether you're looking for yourself, a customized gift, or logo items for your business or event, The Bar to Go can help. Check them out at thebar2go.com. Use the number 2 when you type out The Bar to Go. Did you know Neely Family Distillery now ships its popular distilled spirits directly to you? To order, simply call 859-394-3258. Tell them the ABV Network sent you. Finally, we are sponsored by the upcoming ABV Barrel Shop, a new liquor store experience coming to St. Louis, Missouri. The ABV Barrel Shop will serve as home to the ABV Network and will be owned and operated by Steve Akeley, Jim Fosnot, and Scott Creighton, a.k.a. the Barrel Buddies. To learn more about the investment opportunities in this new venture, listen to the ad at the end of this podcast. And now, on to the show.
Let's drink!
Welcome to the Bourbon Daily, the podcast about everything bourbon delivered to you every day of the week. Today on the show, we complete a bracket challenge to determine the most important detail on a bottle of bourbon. My name is Miss Beka Sue. Please welcome me and please join me in welcoming. Please welcome me in joining Steve Akeley.
Makes
Along
sense.
with our special guests, Dylan Rozier, Della and my husband, Royce Neely.
Hey, gang, what's up?
Howdy.
How's it
Hello.
going?
So we've got a fun show today. We're going to be talking about the most important detail on a bourbon bottle. We'll get to that, though, after the break. For right now, Della was saying there's something she wanted to talk about. What is that, Della?
I wanted to talk about the worst experience you've had on a flight. I will start off with coming back from the Untapped Festival in San Diego. It's just an hour flight from there
Short flight
to Arizona. So typically there's no events that happen during that short time. But this flight, the person, it was me. I'm in the middle. There's a woman. She's at the window, and the aisle seat is empty, and the plane is pretty much filled. And I'm just excited that once they close those doors, I know I'm going to be able to scoot over and we're going to have a seat in between us and we can both be comfortable. And then just as the doors are about to close, this man comes and I see him walking down the aisle and
You're hoping
my heart starts to sink. And he stands there and I look at him and he had to be at least 500 plus pounds.
500 pounder. There you go.
When he sits down, when he squeezes into this seat, he immediately apologizes to me. I'm sorry. And I'm thinking, like, you're not going to get smaller. So why are you saying you're sorry? So he's there and I'm thinking like there's no, they're going through, they're finalizing, they're making sure everybody has their seatbelts on. And I'm like, well, there's no way he's going to be able to put his seatbelt on. And he does this like tiny gesture to the flight attendant. And I guess it's like an unspoken thing because it doesn't say anything, but the flight attendant brings out the seatbelt extender and he's an expert. He knows how to put it on. He puts it on and he is pouring into my seat. And so we take off and it's probably 40 minutes of turbulence, like the entire flight. And he is on top of me in my seat. I am now scooting over into the lady next to me. I'm scooting.
We had him on a show last week. We asked him about his best flight. He said that was the best flight he ever took. So it's all about perspective, I guess.
I'm scooting over into her seat. I feel bad. And every time that there's turbulence and the plane is going up and down, he's squeezing me more and more, and he's pouring on top. The whole flight, he was on top of me. So I'm trying to get the flight attendant's attention, like basically, like, do you see what's happening here? Like, do you see I'm being crushed? But she is like pretending like she doesn't know what any of these.
Sure, that's what I would do. I don't want the problems. I'm not going to make eye contact.
Right. So
please.
The flight lands, and I say, like, that was, to her and the other flight attendant, I'm like, that was horrible. Like, this whole time, that was just terrible. And they're like, oh, we're sorry. Why didn't you ask to be moved? I was like, what was I supposed to do? Like, lean over him and be like, can you move me because he's too big and he's too big for his seat? I wasn't going to say that. And the flight attendant goes, oh, you're such a sweetheart. And I'm like, yeah, I need to be compensated. Like, I did not pay for a half a seat. I paid for a full seat. He did not pay for 1.5 seats. Like, I think that you should. So here's what we came up with, me and my brilliant husband. You know how you have to put your suitcase in that little space, and if it's too big, you have to put it under the plane, like you have to check it. I think they should have a seat at the airport, and you should have to sit in it. And if you don't fit in it, you should have to pay for 2 seats. Yeah. Is that cruel? Is that discrimination?
No. What do you have? I mean, if you don't fit in the seat, you got to buy 2 seats. I think what's wrong with that?
So American Airlines just gave me $100.
Oh, there you go. $100.
They gave me $100.
$100 to shut her up. Yeah, they're like, here's $100.
Round trip flight.
No, you get a hundo. That's all you can get.
$100.
$100. Another $100. Give it away.
Right. Yeah. Like, just give me I felt like I should have got either a refund or a round trip flight, but I guess $100 is fine. So I want to know, what's your worst flight experience you've had?
Well, I'm a bit of a germaphobe, and mine all come down to people vomiting. And I've unfortunately been in situations where I've had people vomiting on a plane. Luckily, never in my row. In the row in front of me, yes. And the one was, we were flying into Miami. I remember this one. It's I don't know, 2.5 hour flight from St. Louis or whatever. But when we got there, we couldn't land. We had to circle the airport for like an hour. Oh. And this guy is throwing up the whole time, every couple of minutes. First time he tries to run to the bathroom, doesn't make it. There's just a running vomit, up the aisle. And then they got the stuff they put on there, and that's the vomit smells terrible, and the stuff they put on there smells
that
sweet.
Powder stuff.
Yeah, it smells sweet with that in it. It's just horrible. And then he's in the row in front of me, and this old couple that was sitting next to him. He's on the next to the window. Then you got this old couple, and they get him a full size trash bag, and he's just like got his head down in that, and he's just throwing up in that every couple of minutes. And the old lady's like rubbing his back. She's being like nice. I would have been punching him. I think I couldn't take that.
Punch him.
I would have punched him. Why are you throwing up on this plane, my friend? What is wrong with you?
Because he's probably fucking hungover, Steve.
I guess. I don't know.
I'll say that. I've had a very bad flight where I was hungover. Like, I literally puked. Like, there's always like the main entrance into an airport.
Yeah.
I got out of the car, and the first thing I did was I vomited all over the main entrance into the airport. Outside, but still
classic.
In the main entrance.
No, yeah, sure. That's nice. That's classic.
But I would say that was not my worst time. Like, I was hungover, and like I think my flight was delayed. Thank God. But that was not.
I like how everyone else's story is about something someone did to them. Yours are about shit you did to other people.
I vomited in front of it, and it was very bad. But I didn't vomit anymore on that particular time. I went to the bathroom. I think I puked again, but my flight was delayed. Thank God. And it also was a bad flight because I was flying home because my grandma died. But I digress. Shitty situation. Being hungover wasn't great. But what comes to mind with my actual I really hate being uncomfortable. That's like the worst thing to me is being uncomfortable.
Yes.
And I had to fly to Seattle, and the flight to Seattle from North Dakota is a very long flight. And I was back like economy middle seat. I had to book it last second for work. And so I was a middle seat, which
I'm like 6'4". I love hearing people who are like 5'6" complain about how they're uncomfortable on a fucking flight.
I guess
God
what?
Damn. God damn.
I'm a window person. I never take middle seat. I always take window. There was only middle seats left. which I was like, that should be fine. Whatever. It sucks, but it's fine. And it would have been fine, but the people on either side of me were stocky.
Yeah.
And this is like, they weren't,
I can't complain about that.
They were just like both people on either side of me. Like if there was one person that was like 100 pounds, one person was like a little bit bigger, I maybe could have made it work, but both people were like, they had to take the
armrest.
Yeah. The armrest. And I was in the middle and I'm like, and so I couldn't sit back the entire flight. And it's like a 4-hour flight at least. And so the entire flight, I had to just sit forward the entire time. I put my elbows down. And then like, even like eating, I could like kind of put my tray down in front of me. And like my back just was killing me the entire time. Cause I was just like, I was squished the entire flight. And I couldn't sit back because I couldn't put because I had to squeeze my arms together if I did sit back. And so I just had to sit forward in this awkward position for like 4 hours. And it was just like I've flown to Germany and to like Puerto Rico and like long flights before that were definitely not fun. But this was just not, it was so much of not fun, of just being like squished. And like, I'm not claustrophobic at all, but just like feeling like you're squished together the entire time. And not
two hot bodies.
Not be able to move the entire time.
Yes.
And like I like to move around a lot. Like I always like have my legs up. I put my feet up on stuff all the time. Like I'm very fidgety, and like just not being able to move as a fidgety person was an absolute nightmare. And like and so every time I book,
that's how I feel on every flight, by the way.
Yeah, so every time I book seats,
it's happened to you once.
I'm like,
and we're still hearing about it. Well, it's me every flight's like that. That's why I don't fly.
You know, Steve, I'm sorry that I'm not 6'4", and what? Like, I'm sorry, but it is like I like I said, I'm like I have to be moving all the time, and I literally was just. I felt like I was stuck in a little box where I couldn't move at all for the entire time.
Royce, anytime Royce flies, it seemingly is a nightmare. So what's your worst?
Oh God, he's
the worst at everything happens to him on flying.
Me and Beka have been getting along really well because I haven't been on an airplane in a long time. It's been a while. We were flying all the time.
You don't do well on flights for some reason.
Like every time
they get canceled
the worst one. I'm at the airport getting ready to go to Key West. And I'm sitting there and there's nobody else around. And the lady's just looking at me. And I'm like, but it still says flight to Key West. And she's like, sir, are you waiting for this flight? I'm like, yeah. She goes, it looks like they just canceled it because they did not sell enough tickets to be able to do it. And I'm like,
that's your fault problem. Yeah, not mine. Let's go.
What? They're like, so we're going to, we got another flight tomorrow. So they comped it. But regardless, anyways, so tomorrow comes. So I had to call and have somebody come pick me back up. And I'm drunk, by the way, because I'm waiting. I hate flying, so I'm hammered. Yeah. So anyways, so day number 2, I'm on the flight and we're heading down towards Key West. And I don't like flying. And we're doing some turbulence. And then all of a sudden the plane just goes, whoo, right out of the air, straight down. And I'm like, whoa, what the heck's going on? And everybody's kind of looking around. I'm about to have a heart attack, and some lady behind me is like, oh my God, we're right over top of Washington, D.C. They're going to fly us into something. I'm like, what the hell's going on? You know what happened?
What?
And this is terrible. Some poor guy up front was actually having a heart attack. So they were doing an emergency landing into D.C. to get him off the plane. So you remember this, Akeley?
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, at this airport, waiting for them to get this poor guy off of there. I'm about to have a heart attack myself. And this stupid lady behind me, about cost me to have one, telling me I'm about to get flown into the White House. So
one time my friend Laura Roth was on a flight, but it was Southwest, and they get on there and they're like, is anybody on here a doctor? I'm like, please, it's fucking Southwest. There wasn't a doctor on that goddamn thing. There's no fucking doctor on there.
Doctors do not fly on Southwest Airlines.
There's no doctor in Southwest. There's never been one person who stood up and said, yes.
They can afford to fly on
I'm a
Delaware.
Juilliard trained physician now. Yes, let me.
You're lucky to find a registered nurse on there.
Yes, I am a doctor who loves to have my bags fly for free.
Yes, I can help you. No, there's no
This
doctors
is
on
Southwest.
There's no doctor.
That was the thing about mine. They didn't even come over the intercom. Like, it'd be one thing if they come with the intercom and said we have to make an emergency landing. They didn't say anything. They just, whoo.
I'm surprised they didn't ask if there's a doctor. But
the best thing that I've done for Royce is I bought him noise canceling headphones, and
just make him oblivious to that. Put on the Bourbon Daily and let him go. Yeah,
I turn on Indiana Jones.
Well, that's real nice.
And
you can't even plug the show while we're on the show. Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't give a goddamn what you're actually having them listen to. On the show, we could be like, oh yeah, he listens.
It's always the Bourbon Daily. Adrian.
Thank you. There's a guy
always
who knows
the Bourbon Daily, and sometimes the Bourbon Show.
No, but
in
actually,
the future, I'm going to be watching your YouTube channel as well.
But actually, it's Indiana Jones.
There you go.
While reading your new book.
Bourbon Assignments.
Bourbon Assignments.
Bourbon Assignments. Yes.
All right, Dylan. How about you? You're the last one, and you said you've got something that's a horror story. So what do you got?
I've actually gotten pretty lucky on the actual flights. I don't have any terrible horror stories on the actual flights, but I was sitting in the Orlando airport at one time, and a thunderstorm came through, knocked out all the electricity to the whole airport, and it went absolutely, completely pitch black in this place. It was night. We were
oh my God,
out
I'm
late.
terrified.
And on top of that, evidently there was some kind of like national, like high school volleyball tournament in town. So the airport is packed with all of these high school girl volleyball players. And then all the electricity goes out. And all of these girls just absolutely start losing their shit.
Imagine that. Over dramatizing.
That is like my absolute nightmare. You got all these high school girls running around screaming and people freaking out because they don't know what's happening. The airport's completely out and nobody knew what to do. And it's funny I say that. I have 3 girls, so I'm going to be in that age group here.
You'll be there. You'll get there.
That is my nightmare. Like high school girls and that run around screaming. I don't know how to handle that. That's not me. I don't know what to do. That's my nightmare. So that is
and
my
your nightmare and your future.
Yeah, your nightmare and your future. Yeah, you'll be living that soon enough.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Some airport nightmare stories. Della, that ended up being a good question. So really good. All right. What is everyone drinking? I'm going to start this one out. I'm going to see. Okay, here's where we're at. We got glass. We got bottle. This much left. Whistle pig. Can I fit? Can I fit that in the glass?
Yes.
For last show pour. Let's see.
I love this game.
Oh, it's a fun game. Cork pop. Here we go. Decent. Could be enough to win. We'll see. All right. Here we go. Last show pour. Let's see what we can do. Oh, it looks like it's going to be very safely. Made that no problem. No problem. Very good. All right, Della, you're next. What do you got?
I'm next. I have Peerless Small Batch.
Okay.
Let's see. I haven't really drank anything out of this. Okay, let's see.
I like that one.
All right. Okay, there's our leader. She took over the lead. Della's in front. Dylan, what do you got?
All right, I'm going back to my Metallica, my Blackened Willet collaboration. We're going to give that one a shot again.
Okay. Okay, no, not enough. Della has the lead. Royce, you're next.
I got it.
I have got some Monster Mash, one of our new store picks.
Okay. Very squeaky. Very squeaky.
Squeaky.
Good cork pop, but not as good as Dylan's. Dylan's got the lead. Dylan's got the lead. No, Della's got the lead. Who has the lead?
Della on that one.
Della's got the lead. Okay, Della has the lead.
Wow,
Beka Sue, I'm doing the best I can.
That's all we can ask for.
I'm doing the best I can. Oh, sometimes, Steve, your best isn't fucking enough.
True. That's true. She's not wrong. All right, here we go.
It is my turn, although Steve has no idea whose turn it is, but it is my turn. I know that I'm last. I've got Old Granddad Bonded.
Old Granddad Bonded. Okay. Very,
And-
about 2/3 gone. 2/3 gone.
Yeah,
I
so
was
it's
gonna
not going to
pick
go
that
good.
tonight.
The cork's halfway out because, frankly, these corks suck most of the time, anyways.
Okay. No, not enough. Macy, but not enough. Della takes it. There you go, Della. Cheers.
I'm the winner. Okay.
You can buy the Cork Pop
cheers.
t-shirt. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
I need it, and then I'll turn
Cheers.
it into a sleeveless tank top like I do everything.
Yes. And I think we even sell toddler sizes because Della likes the smallest size you can get. She famously loves small
Smaller the
t-shirts.
better.
Smaller the better. So there you go. All right. What we'll do next, we'll take that quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to talk about what is the most important detail for us when we're looking at a bottle. We'll do that in just a few. Hello, this is Steve Akeley of the ABV Network. Let's talk about the people who make this show happen. First up is Leatherwood Distillery in Pleasant View, Tennessee. Company founder Andy Lang started distilling as a hobby while serving his country as an elite Green Beret. Andy distilled all over the world during his time in the military and brought this passion back to him in the U.S. when he returned home. A visit to Leatherwood combines Andy Lang's unique distilled spirits and a museum of artifacts from his time serving the U.S. Share a drink with a fallen soldier at their bar where you can grab an acrylic bio off the wall that celebrates the individuals who gave the ultimate sacrifice to protect his or her country. They will also ship their distilled spirits directly to you, so check them out at leatherwooddistillery.com. We are also sponsored by Moonshine University. This longtime partner for the ABV Network helps educate individuals looking to get into the distilled spirits business, service industry employees looking to expand their knowledge, and individuals simply wanting to know more about the process and history of the spirits industry. In 2017, I completed my Executive Bourbon Steward certification at Moonshine University, and it's something I continuously draw upon and connect with fellow graduates. Check out their full listing of classes, including Executive Bourbon Steward certification, production classes, and more at moonshineuniversity.com. Okay, let's talk about Neely Family Distillery. In 2018, I met Royce Neely at an industry event. He started appearing on our shows, and we became friends during my frequent visits to Kentucky. Today, he's leading the way for young distillers making their mark on the bourbon industry. A visit to Neely Family Distillery combines family history, a look at what makes their products unique, and of course a tasting through their whiskeys, moonshines, and creams. Check them out at neelyfamilydistillery.com and visit them in Sparta, Kentucky. All right, back to the show.
Hi, this is Mr. Bill. You're listening to Bourbon Daily.
I haven't had much of this Peerless, but it is good.
It's good, right? That's good stuff.
Oh.
I like that Peerless a lot. That Peerless is good.
Welcome back to the Bourbon Daily. Today, we're going to find out what the most important detail on a bourbon bottle is.
Yes, we are. So as you pick up a bourbon bottle and you look at it, we're asking, of course, what's the most important to you? Here's the contenders: distilled by, bottled by, non-chill filtered, ABV or proof, age statement, single barrel or small batch, straight, or the brand name. What is the most important thing in helping you make a buying decision? Here's how they're going to match up. Non-chill filtered will take on straight. Distilled by will take on single barrel or small batch. The brand name will take on the ABV or proof. And then finally, the age statement will take on bottled by. All right, round number one. Up first is Dylan. Dylan, you're first. What do you think is more important for you as a consumer, non-chill filtered or straight? Seeing the word straight on there.
I gotta go with straight. I think that's kind of like baseline, like kind of a quality statement. You know, it's at least 2 years old and it's been made in the same spot. And yeah, I would go with straight for sure.
Straight. Okay. Royce, you're next. What do you think? Non-chill filtered or straight? What would be more important for you?
I'm going to go with it. To me, I'm going to go with non-chill filtered. I like to know that, that the oils and things are still inside of it.
There you go. Della, what do you think? Non-chill filtered or straight? What's more important to you?
Well, honestly, being a novice, I did not know what non-chill filter
This is
meant
true.
until Royce just said that. So the fact that he said that he likes that the oils and everything are still in there, that is interesting and intriguing to me. So I'm going to go with non-chill filter.
Non-chill filter takes the lead. Beka, what do you think? Non-chill filtered or straight?
Yeah, I honestly don't care if it's straight as long as it's good. Right. And non-chill filtered, like, I'd rather have things not filtered. So
non-chill filtered moves on. Okay, next up is distilled by, or the fact if it's a single barrel or small batch. Are you looking at that? And if so, what is more important? Round number 2, Royce, you're first.
That's hard.
That's really hard.
That's fucking hard.
Yeah, that's really hard because obviously single barrel or small batches is a big deal. Mm-hmm. But to me, there's nothing more. I think the most important thing on the label is just knowing that it's distilled by them. So okay. I'm going with distilled by.
All right, Della, how about you? Distilled by or single barrel small batch? That's an and or with single barrel small batch. It's a 2-for-1, as we say in the podcasting business.
I don't know why, but I like the idea of small batch. It just seems like it's exclusive or something. So I'm going to go with small batch. Small batch.
Okay. Small batch has tied it up with distilled by. Round number 2, Miss Beka Sue, you're next.
This is actually a very difficult one. Because of the fact. So for people out there that don't know, if it does not say distilled by on the back by who it is distilled by, I mean, it's depending where it's at. If it doesn't say, it just says hand bottled by or bottled by Jim Bob's distillery, then that means it's a source product, right?
Sure,
right.
Sure.
And that to me can be an issue. Now, if it says distilled by Neely Family Distillery, then you know that it was made by Neely Family Distillery. If it just says bottled by Neely Family Distillery, then that means we did not produce that product.
That means you got it from someone else.
What you are tasting is not a Neely Family Distillery product. And then we go, if it says single barrel and small batch, but it does not say distilled by, but it is a single barrel that was from Neely Family Distillery, but it does not say distilled by them, then it means that it's something that we sourced that maybe we did do a single barrel pick of from somewhere else.
I changed my answer there. No.
Yeah, like that's why that becomes, and that's why I'm saying this now, because not everyone knows that.
Right.
And that's one of the biggest problems.
And you're using your own company as an example, just for example purposes. Yeah, you guys don't source anything.
And we don't source anything. But if on the bottle of something that we sold, it did not say distilled by, and it just said bottled by Neely Family Distillery, then it's something that we did not produce. And if
I would go so far as to take it a step further than that. If it says bottled by but not distilled by, you're probably trying to pull the wool over the big time.
That's the thing. There's no problem with sourcing.
Yeah,
It's being transparent about it. So many try to hide it.
And also,
but so many trying to hide it. That's what I'm saying. If you're trying to hide it, get sneaky. A bottle by, if you're not really into it like we are, and people who listen to podcasts, if you see bottle by, you're just assuming, oh, okay, well, this is their product then.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not. If it does not say distilled and bottled by so-and-so distillery, then that means they source that product. And by that same means, if it does just say bottled by, but it's a single barrel from that distillery, so you can assume that they did do at least a barrel pick with the source product, it probably is a good barrel pick, which is a good thing because barrel picks are generally a lot better than just the normal product. But I have to go that distilled by is a bigger thing to me, because like I want to know what it is that they are producing, even if the distilled by is a small batch or something, or a single barrel or whatever it is, just a normal big brand that they have. I want them to be the one producing it, and I want that to be a good product, regardless of if it's a single barrel or a batch.
Yeah. To me, this one,
this one was hard because I absolutely would have gone with single barrel because I love single barrels, but I like the transparency of, I know that you distilled something and that you made it. So I have to go with distilled by.
Yeah, I got to echo that too. I mean, just coming from like, we're just literally just getting started. We don't have anything in the bars out there yet, but I know that the effort, and we're not going to source anything. So I know the effort that it takes and the commitment that it takes to be able to put that distilled by on the back of the bottle. I think that's extremely important. I think that's awesome. I mean, I would go, I know we're already winning on distilled by, but I would go on distilled by for sure.
That means distilled by officially moves on. All right, round number 3. Della, you are going to be first. Brand name or the ABV?
Ooh.
/ proof, whatever you prefer.
Right.
In America, we normally prefer the proof, but you're from the beer world, so you might prefer ABV. You're a beer person, so that might be the language you talk. Yeah.
As a beer person, ABV, it depends because ABV can be important to the person that's just trying to get drunk off a beer, or you could go with a name like Avery or Boulevard that you know is going to consistently give you good beer regardless of the ABV. Me, I've had the last beer that I reviewed for Bourbon Zeppelin was 17.2% ABV.
Wowzers.
Which is one of the
highest.
Knock
you on your ass.
Yes, one of the highest I think I've ever had. So, but it didn't mean that it was going to be an excellent beer. So I'm going to go with name.
The name, brand name. Okay, that means that brand name goes up 1-0. Miss Beka Sue, what do you think? Brand name or ABV?
I am not a proof snob at all. Like I think that proof snobs, I think it's a silly thing to even be in general. A proof snob. Like I just like people are like, oh, it's only 85 proof or 90 proof. I'll never like it. I don't even want to try it. Or people who are like, no, it's 142 proof. That's impossible that I'll like it. It's too high proof. I would never like it. And like we just had a light whiskey that Jeff Kaplan let us taste from Copper Sky that was, I think, was it 142?
It's MGP light whiskey. Yeah, they're high.
It was really good.
Copper Sky,
And there's a lot of people that wouldn't want to taste it because it was a super high proof. But I'll tell you what, you would have had no idea that was 142.
They entered at like 145.
Yeah, I tasted it, and I would have had zero idea of what the proof was. And so I think that the ABV, the proof is just a silly thing to even. I think that you need to go fully off of taste and not off of what the proof is. And so I would go with brand over that because I think that you know what a brand is going to give you, if it's going to be a good whiskey or not. And so go with brand, not with proof.
I'm going to take a different take on the exercise as a whole because I get that point. If I see the Neely brand on the name, I'm drawn to it. And that to me is more important than the proof. I want to try that product. But for this, in my mind, sitting on a table, if I have 5 different brands and I say, choose which one you want to try, and you've never heard of any of them, does the brand really matter at all? I don't think so. I think that's just marketing and really who cares? To me, one of the things, and again, it's not that important in the scheme, but compared to the brand name for me, on a blind situation, the proof would be one of the starting points for me. And I am a bit of a proof guy. I like the higher proof stuff. So I would probably be drawn towards that just in a blind situation. So I'm going to go proof.
What a douchebag.
She said,
I was kidding, Steve.
Look, she said proof snob. He's like, I am a proof guy.
I am a proof snob.
I am a proof guy.
And there we go.
Hold on now. He's not a proof snob. He doesn't turn it away because of the proof.
It's true.
Right. He will drink anything, but there are some people who are proof snobs who, if it's like below 100, they will not drink it. Or if it's below 115, they don't want to touch it.
I'm not that way.
And there are actual proof snobs that they won't touch it unless it's a certain proof because they think it can't be good.
You can find snobs in every subculture, in a snob within a snob within a snob, like even in the beer world.
Beer world's got plenty of them. Yeah, they didn't used to, but they've gotten there.
I agree with you. Steve, I agree with you to a point with that too, where if I see something that's 80 proof, that's not going to be the first. I'm not going to go, I want to taste that. I want to taste the one that's 105 to 110.
So it just comes down to me is interpretation of what you think it is. And we always leave these open because we want to have some fun with it. We don't want them to be automatic. So it's open to interpretation. The way I interpret it is it's a blind situation. All I see then is brand names and proof. I would be guided more towards the proof than the brand name in that situation. That's the way I interpret this exercise to be, but it doesn't mean that you do. And it can be whatever you want it to be. So Beka's not wrong for what she said. But
and
I'm
you're
more
not
right.
either, Steve.
I'm more right.
Oh, okay. I try to be nice there, Steve, by saying that you're right and I'm
right.
But obviously, Steve, fuck you.
All right, here's where we're at. The ABV just has life in this game. It's down 2-1. But Dylan, you're next. What do you think? Brand name or ABV?
And I honestly if I did a blind tasting, I trend towards the higher proof stuff. The take I would take on that, like the stuff I really like is like 100 plus. I mean, that's just the way I trend. That's the stuff that I typically like. But that is not like when I go to a liquor store and look for something new, I don't look for ABV. I mean, if a brand name catches my eye, I'm going to pick that bottle up. And look at it.
All right.
And I don't care what the ABV is. If that intrigues me at some point, I don't care if it's 80 or if it's 100 plus. I mean, I'll buy it and try it. So I got to say probably brand name.
Brand name. Okay, that means brand name moves on.
I've got one thing to say though, Akeley. Back to ABV real quick. One thing you do, we all do. I know you do, Akeley. We use ABV as a way to tell a quality of a product. So I look at ABV to say, oh, this is 105. It doesn't drink like 105.
Oh, yeah.
This is 105, but man, it drinks like it's 120. To me, that means this product's not very good, or it's really good because it's drinking, a different product than it is.
Wait a minute. Let's say that again. So if it's 105 and it's drinking like 120, that is bad.
Yes.
To me, it is. That means it's hot.
It means it tastes way too. It tastes
There's no complexity there. You're focusing just on the heat.
Smooth.
Because that's
to me, Della, there's nothing better than be like, I'll try something, be like, oh wow, what is this like 90 proof? And then I look at it, it's 110, and I'm like, wow, this is impressive. This is distilled and matured the right way.
Now, if it's 85 proof, and someone goes, what is this, 120? And they go, it's 85. Then you have a problem.
Okay. Cause I was going to say, that's the same way I feel about barrel aged beers. Like the one that I had that was 17.4%. They always say it drinks so mellow, or it drinks smooth, or it drinks lower than the ABV suggests. Like, I like that. Oh, we call it an easy drinker. Like it doesn't burn. It's not a sipper. It doesn't take all day to finish.
It shouldn't burn you up.
Yeah. No burn.
To me, that's like the difference between George T. Stagg, which is always, very drinkable for the proof it is, versus Stagg Junior, which there's some good ones, but there's also some ones that are just hot to be hot, and I don't like that. When it's just hot to be hot, I don't want that.
Not good.
It's not good.
Yeah.
The tasting note shouldn't be high proof. That's
hey, Akeley, and I bet you that's what happened this year. I don't know, but I bet that's what happened to the Stagg this year.
Yeah.
I saw that. I bet that's what happened too.
Yeah. All right. Next up is age statement or bottled by. What is more important to you? Round number 4. Miss Beka Sue, you're first. The age statement or bottled by. This is interesting. Also for kind of maybe kind of two throwaway things end up being matched up against one another. So what's the more important of the two? These are lesser importance to me than I think some of the other ones, but one of them gets a pass. So he's going to be making the final 4.
So age statement versus bottled by. I don't really give a shit who bottles something. The distilled by is definitely more of a issue than a bottle by. Who bottled it? Like, I don't care who bottled it. If it says that if this is Jim Bob's bourbon and it says distilled by Jim Bob, but Billy Joe bottled it,
right?
I don't care.
In reality, bottled by, they're probably only going to tell you that if they bottled it. So, because Royce bottles a lot of other companies. I don't think there's one of them on the back of the label that says bottled by Neely Family Distillery. They don't say that.
Care who bottles it.
No.
And honestly,
actually, we don't really want people to even know we're like, I do it on contract, but I don't even want it known. Like,
usually bottled by is just, Yeah, like I don't know what you put, Royce, but usually, distilled and bottled by, that's fine. That's good. But
yeah,
again, that bottle by,
I put it like proudly on the front. It says distilled and aged in Sparta, Kentucky.
There you go.
Yeah, and in all honesty, I don't give a fuck about an age statement either.
But you got to pick one here. You got to pick one.
I know, but
it's age statement. You want to know the age? We always ask the age.
No, I don't care about the age statement because I only care about if it tastes good or not. Bananas Foster, that fucking barrel was what, 15 months old?
Yeah.
Yeah, but if it wasn't age stated on there, you wouldn't know it was 15.
I don't care it was 15 months old.
Impressive or not.
But it's impressive, but I didn't like it was good regardless.
But again, that being said,
I would have liked the Bananas Foster bottle, regardless if it was 15 months old or if it was 5 months old. That was a good.
But you're talking taste, and we are talking on label or bottle, what's on there. So this is before you taste it too. This is like a buying decision.
Yeah, no, I'm going to go with age statement because I care more about that than bottle by because I don't give a shit who bottles.
Okay, I'm going to agree with Beka. Absolutely, I don't care about bottle by at all. That one, I never look for it. I actually don't care. I think there's way more important things than age statement. And again, I do think it always comes down to taste. But age statement is a way when all other things are eliminated to take a look at something. And you know what?
You can judge something very well. I mean, you can judge things on that because guess what? If it has a 10-year age statement and it sucks.
Yeah. And that does happen sometimes. So it doesn't mean it's automatically good.
Just like ABV, I use that as a way to say, oh, wow, this drinks like it's 8 years old when really it's 2. That's impressive.
Yeah. So I'm also going to go age statement. I think it's an easy one here, but we'll see. Next up is Dylan. What do you think? Age statement or bottle by?
Yeah, I don't really like either one of these. Like I honestly don't care. I really don't care who bottles it. I mean, that doesn't change the product. I mean, we're going to put bottled by on it just because we're doing everything from A to Z.
Because you're doing it. There's no reason not to, but yeah.
I mean, we're doing it, so we're putting it on there, but I don't care. I mean, if I'm going to the store and looking at new products, I don't care who bottles it. I also don't care about the age statement.
Maybe it's the lesser of two evils, but that's what.
Right. I mean, I don't. As long as it's good, and I mean, I've heard good stuff about it. I honestly don't care how old it is. I don't. I mean, it's not a big thing to me. So, I mean, and if I had to pick the lesser of two evils, I would say age statement.
That means age statement does move on. All right, our final four looks like this: non-chill filtered or distilled by, and then brand name versus age statement. Round number 5, I'm first. Non-chill filtered or distilled by, what's more important? These are both important. I do look for that non-chill filter. And that does help me make a decision. That will impact because I think it's more of a flavorful thing. But distilled by, to me, I think is one of the cornerstones of picking a good bourbon. Again, not that source is wrong, but I want to see what are they saying, because if they are sourcing it, tell me about it. And so if it's not distilled by them, where's it distilled? What state is it distilled? I just want to know a little information. So tell me a little bit about it. And I think for me, that's more important. So I'm going distilled by. Dylan, what do you think? Non-chill filtered or distilled by? What's more important?
Man, as much as we've got into this industry and looking into labels and what everything goes into that, I would.
Is that one of those crustable things you have when you're like 8?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Is that what she's got right there? Oh yeah, there it is. Uncrustables. Yeah.
Hey, those things are awesome, by the way.
Oh my God.
I love those things. I will eat those things all day long. Those things are awesome.
These are the best.
Our very own little Beka is
I'm a CBD guy, and I will eat those things.
I buy these for my husband.
Okay. I cannot wait for you all to have kids.
My wife does the same thing.
Hilarious.
Those things are awesome.
Do not put that evil on us.
Dylan eats them too.
Oh, I love them. I eat them all the time because they're quick and easy on the go. But
if they're here,
they're also 210 calories. So whatever.
Yeah, I don't care. They're awesome.
Yeah. Okay. So Dylan, non-chill filtered or distilled by, what's more important?
I'm still going distilled by. I think if somebody's making the effort to put that on the back of the label and that it's made in one place,
right?
I think that's awesome. I mean,
Okay.
I'm
glad we don't have one more show. I feel like this is the last show for Della, no matter what.
Yeah, we're going.
I think the alcohol's begin to take effect. So
yeah, we're definitely distilled by.
All right, round number 5. Royce, you're next. Distilled by is up to. Remember, the clock is ticking for Dylan here, so please keep that in mind as you answer.
Real quick, something you guys have to know. It's kind of interesting. So the TTP requires that you always have to put bottle by on each label. So you will always see bottle by on every label somewhere. You can only put distilled by on it if you distilled it. If you did not distill it, obviously you can't put that on there.
Right.
So you always will see distilled and bottle by, or you will just see bottle by, which is neat. I also look for non-chill filtered. It's incredibly important. But to me, there's nothing more important than knowing if that person actually made it or not. So I'm going with distilled by.
Distilled by moves on. We'll be in our finale. Okay. Next up is brand name versus age statement. Round number 6. Dylan, you're first.
I gotta go brand name. I don't care about the age statement that much. Brand name is gonna go over for me on that one.
All right, brand name goes up 1-0 over age statement. Next up is you, Royce. What are your thoughts?
All right, I look for both of them. I do like to know the brand. Obviously, if I don't know the brand, I don't know what I'm getting. But I like to know the age because I like to know if something drinks like it's older or drinks like it's younger than what the age they stayed on it. So I'm going to go with age statement.
Age statement. All right, age statement's tied it up. Della, what do you think? Brand name or age statement?
I like age statement because I do think that time makes a difference. It does when it comes to bourbon barrel aged beers. So I'm going to go with age statement.
Age statement. That means age statement is up 2-1 over brand name. Miss Beka Sue, you're next.
If I know that something, if I know that a brand has been putting out a good bottle before, then I'm going to trust that what they're putting out is still probably pretty good.
Yep.
And so I'm going to trust in the brand name, and I'm going to go with the brand because honestly, there's a lot of times where a brand can put out something that's a lower age that is really good, and maybe they don't tell us that it's lower age and it's still delicious. And I don't want to judge it just off that age. I'd rather judge it off of what the flavor is. So I'm going to go off of brand name.
Brand name. Okay. That means brand name has tied it up, and it comes down to me, brand name or age statement. For me, the most important out of those two in making my buying decision, again, this is my assumption is I don't know these brands and I got to make a decision here. A sharp name is cool and may grab my attention, and I may buy it because of the brand name, but more than likely a way to get me is that age statement. So I'm going to go age statement means it will move on to the finale and it will compete against distilled by. So round number 7, Miss Beka Sue, you're going to be first. Distilled by or age statement, what is more important?
Absolutely distilled by. I don't want any goddamn source brand.
You heard her. She doesn't want.
You don't want any source brands?
Although we do appreciate every one of our clients.
I appreciate a source brand when they put some effort into what they're doing after it's sourced. And I'm only saying this because my husband's making me.
So
I am not associated with any sort of Neely family distillery contract. No,
my last name is Neely.
My last name is Bolton.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. I checked your driver's license.
And here's the thing with my source brand conflict and not conflict. If you source a brand, that's fine. If in fact you are picking out your single barrels, you are actually doing work with your single barrel or you're blending,
adding value to it,
adding things to it,
or you're just transparent. No,
or if you're transparent, the transparency, or if you are actually doing things along the lines with your sourcing of your barrel.
Like these guys, I think they do a good job. Barrel does a good job.
If you're sourcing a barrel,
they're not making anything,
and you are finishing it, or you're double barreling it, you're finishing it, you're doing something to it, you're blending it with other barrels. You're doing something cool with a sherry cask, whatever. I don't give a shit. Do something with your source brand so that you are not just putting out something that I'm going to find in something else. Okay.
She'll be sleeping 2 minutes after we say goodbye on the show.
Probably.
Yeah. All right.
But regardless of that fact, this is something I've said numerous times.
You got to appreciate. You have to appreciate sometimes that people don't always want to be distillers. Not everybody is cut out to be a distiller.
That's fine.
Like look at Rolling Fork Rum, for instance. They want to buy rum where rum's meant to be made at in the Caribbean. Mm-hmm. Then they bring it up here and they do all kinds of crazy stuff to it to make it their own.
Yeah, they finish it. Yeah, they finish all their barrels. They finish, and I appreciate that for what it is.
To me, out of these two,
barrel, and then you sell it directly as but not what it was.
Right. To me, distilled by versus age statement.
So distilled by is.
It's still you.
Far like that. That is the biggest thing to me is distilled by.
Yes. And I'm going to agree with you because I'm also going to vote distilled by because I think that's the most important thing. And again, not against anything who's sourced and stuff. Again, just tell us where it's from or whatever.
Okay.
It's important.
We just want to know.
Be transparent.
Do something else to it.
Okay. So here's where we're at. It took us a long time to get here, but here's where we're at, Dylan. Distilled by is up 2-0 over age statement. What's more important to you?
I gotta say distilled by. I mean, if I look at a bottle, distilled by is gonna win over an age statement.
Or that other thing.
So, it's distilled by for sure.
We may never see Dylan again. I feel like when he hangs up here, he's going to be in trouble. Do you want us just to hang out till you sober up?
We're good. We're good.
You're good. You're good.
I've seen this exact thing happen with Adam Stump.
Yeah, exactly.
Do not trip over your slipper tonight.
Yeah, don't trip over your slippers tonight.
We're good to go.
We're good. You're good to go.
All
right.
Good.
Well, there you go. Distilled by is our champion. Takes it 3-0 in the finals versus age statement. I think that's the right answer. I think distilled by is the most important thing on the bottle. And it should win, and it did. So we did the right thing today. So that's very cool. All right. We'll wrap this one up as we always do by talking about where people can find us. Dylan, we'll start with you. Where can people find you?
Yeah, our website's ourfarmdistillery.com. We're kind of a splash page right now. The full website's ready to go pretty quick here. We can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Our Farm Distillery, and that's where you can find us.
All right, sounds good. How about you, Royce?
Find me on Facebook and Instagram at Neely Family Distillery or at NeelyFamilyDistillery.com.
All right, Della.
You can find me on Untapped and Instagram under 6 Feet of Dynamite.
All right, Miss Beka Sue.
You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Miss Beka Sue, 1K, no C's.
All right, for me, I'm an easy guy to find. I'm at Steve Akeley on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I've got a website, steveakeley.com. The important website, though, is abvnetwork.com. You want to go there because you want to get my book. I've got a plug for it right on the main page. Hit that. It'll take you right to Amazon. Buy it. Put it in your card. Hit, buy it now, and boom, there you go, and you're all set. And I'll sign up for you next time I see you. So check us out at abvnetwork.com. Miss Beka Sue, anything else to say before we get out of here?
I'd just like to remind the audience to please give us a 5-star review that includes comments. It helps when people find the show, which is very important to us. If you like what we're doing, we ask you to please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/the ABV Network.
All right, great job today, gang. For our audience, we'll have a brand new show for you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Until then, take care, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Later. See you guys.
Peace. Before we finish the show, let's talk about some great companies that support the ABV network. First up is Moonshine Still Pro. Moonshine Still Pro has a full line of products to help the home distiller. Whether you want to experiment on the stove in your kitchen or you're looking for a bigger setup in your backyard, owner Russell Creed and his team can help. They have multiple still offerings, accessories, and even grain from their partners at Goldstone Mill to assist you in making whiskey on par with your favorite distillery. They can also help you with some fabricated parts you probably can't make yourself if you are attempting a DIY still project. Learn more or order your still or parts at moonshinestillpro.com. Another friend of ours is the Goldstein family at Goldstone Mill. The Goldsteins offer a variety of heritage and heirloom grains to make the finest whiskeys in the world. Plus, they are more than just a grain company. They are truly consultants to make sure the grains they are providing to you or your business meet your highest expectations. Additionally, they work with mills around the country, ensuring shipping is as low as possible for their customers. If you're a distillery, brewery, or even doing this at home, Goldstone can assist you. Check them out at goldstonemill.com, call them at 217-254-6613, or check in via email at hello@goldstonemill.com. Last but not least, at the top of the show, I mentioned investment opportunities at the new liquor store concept, the ABV Barrel Shop, being launched in 2022 by myself, Jim Fosnot, and Scott Creighton. We are crowdfunding some of the capital needed to open the store. Not only does it offer a return on your investment, but a lifetime of status and benefits at the store. Of course, this investment is a loan and involves a high degree of risk, which may not be suitable for all persons. Prospective investors should carefully evaluate the risk and merits of an investment, should confer with their own legal and financial advisors, and should be able to bear the risk of the loss of their investment before considering the investment described herein. If you would like more information, contact us via the under construction website at abvbarrelshop.com and fill out the form.
The Bourbon Daily is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening and cheers.
This has been a Steve Akeley production.